There's a place in northern Minnesota where a river simply vanishes. No warning, no plume of mist, just water, thousands of gallons per second, slipping into a rocky hole, never seen again. Locals call it the Devil's Kettle, and for more than half a century, scientists, hikers, and mystics have wrestled with the same question. Where does the water go? Fade to black. The Devil's Kettle lives inside Judge C.R. Magny State Park, a stretch of deep forest, basalt cliffs, and relentless river valleys carved by ancient glacial forces. Here, the Brule River splits in two. The right side behaves like any waterfall, crashing down into a pool. The left side drops into a massive pothole carved into volcanic rock. And then, nothing. Long before road signs led travelers here, the Ojibwe people knew this place. To them, this wasn't just a hole in the earth. It was an opening to another realm. Some stories described spirits living beneath the rock. Others warned that anything entering the kettle never returned. For early settlers, it was simpler. They gave it a name that said everything: the Devil's Kettle. In the 1960s, curiosity hit a new level. A group of hikers tossed sticks, bottles, even small logs into the kettle. None came out downstream. The river swallowed them whole. Word spread, not through newspapers or journals, but through the kind of whispered story that makes a place legendary. By the mid-1970s, geologists arrived with measuring tools, dye packets, and cautious optimism. They dropped colored dye into the kettle. They waited. Nothing. They dropped ping-pong balls, bright, fluorescent, impossible to miss. Gone. The kettle was no longer a local mystery. It became a geological puzzle that made professionals uneasy. When nature produces something unexplainable, the theories get creative. Some believed the water flowed through a lava tube, but Minnesota's geology makes that nearly impossible. Others speculated about underground caverns, large enough to swallow rivers whole. No evidence has ever supported that. And then, of course, there were theories involving the supernatural. They said the hole was bottomless, a passage to hell, a gateway to a lost underground lake, a portal to another dimension. And though the folklore was dramatic, for decades, scientists couldn't actually disprove it. There was simply no trace. No resurfacing water, no debris field, no exit point, just questions. Every decade brought new attempts, rubber balls with serial numbers, computer trackers, wooden planks waited for stability. Nothing emerged. You could drop thousands of objects into that hole, and the river kept its secrets. Hydrologists teach a simple truth. Water doesn't disappear. It moves. It erodes. It travels. But Devil's Kettle seemed to break every rule. If the entire left fork of the Brule disappeared here, why didn't the right fork run dry? Why wasn't there a drainage collapse downstream? Why wasn't the landscape changing? Nothing added up. In 2016, something changed. A group of hydrologists from the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources used a new approach, carefully measuring water volume above the falls, and again below it. Their discovery shocked everyone. The water didn't vanish. The flow upstream matched the flow downstream. The water somehow rejoined the river, unseen. But how? The researchers suggested the simplest explanation. Water from the kettle tunnels through cracks in the ancient rock and emerges further downstream, beneath the visible surface. But there was still a major problem. No one had ever found the exit, not visually, not chemically, not through sonar, not with trackers. The math worked, the mystery didn't. Minnesota isn't known for deep caves. Its volcanic bedrock is rigid, dense, unforgiving. To believe the kettle connects through underground cracks big enough to carry a river means believing in a geological anomaly unlike anything else in the region. If the cracks existed, they'd be massive. They'd destabilize the riverbed. Erosion would reshape the region. But the land is stable, unmoved. Another contradiction. Over the years, rescue teams have warned hikers not to approach the edge. The kettle is powerful, unpredictable. At least one person has fallen in. They were never found. There's no body downstream, no remains, just the relentless churn of the kettle. It doesn't just swallow water. Today, modern explorers bring drones, 3D mapping tools, and underwater sensors. The hole is still too dangerous to enter, the walls too slick, the current too violent. Even machines struggle. Every attempt ends the same way, with more questions than answers. Here's what people argue about now. 1. A hidden underground fracture system unlike anything else in Minnesota. 2. A collapsed lava tube, almost geologically impossible. 3rd, subterranean channels feeding directly into the Brule River. 4th, a deep, unmapped chamber. 5th, a hydrological trick of timing and pressure. 6th, and, for the believers, something otherworldly, none proven, none disproven. Walk to the kettle today and you'll feel something unusual. It's not supernatural. It's not frightening. It's the feeling of watching a phenomenon that refuses to follow the rules. A reminder that nature still has places that don't care about human explanations. The roar of the water, the vibration of the rock, the endless plunge into the unknown. It's humbling. Scientists believe they understand the kettle now. But even they admit the truth. No one has ever seen the exit point. No camera has captured it. No diver has survived it. Sometimes understanding comes without proof. Sometimes mystery wins. The Devil's Kettle is a crack in the story of our planet. A reminder that Earth isn't fully mapped, that not every river bows to physics, and that some places keep their secrets because they want to. Stand beside the kettle long enough, and you'll understand something simple. This isn't a mystery to solve. It's a mystery to respect. The Devil's Kettle, the water that vanishes into the earth,